We often look at really innovative companies and wonder, how do they keep doing it? It's clearly not just about one brilliant idea. It's this ongoing engine for solving problems. But how do you actually build that? How do you move past just like occasional creative sparks to a real culture of innovation?
That's exactly what we're digging into today. We're zeroing in on this idea of how might we thinking,
Yeah.
and specifically how you make it stick, how it moves from being, just an exercise you do in a workshop sometimes, to being the default way your teams, your whole organization approaches challenges, almost second nature.
Right. We're drawing on some really useful insights from a source called Building a How Might We Culture for Innovation. Sounds like it's got some practical stuff in there and real examples.
Oh yeah, it's packed with them. Really concrete advice and stories showing how the shift actually plays out. So our mission here is to pull out the key nuggets for you. How can you actually foster that continuous creative problem solving, turning those everyday hurdles into real opportunities?
Okay, let's get into it. Why does How Might We need a cultural home? Why isn't innovation just, a project, something you schedule?
Well, because making it a habit, making how might we truly stick, it needs deeper roots. You need fundamental things like real trust between people. You need explicit permission, genuine permission to fail and learn. And maybe the biggest one, you absolutely need consistent, visible support from the leadership. Without that foundation, innovation efforts just, well, they tend to fizzle out.
That permission to fail piece sounds crucial, but also tricky. Like when deadlines are tight and the pressure's on, how do leaders actually create that safety? What does it look like in practice?
Yeah, it's more than just words. It's celebrating the learning that comes from failure, not just glossing over it. It's leaders sharing their own mistakes, their own learning moments. That's powerful. It's also about deliberately setting aside some time, maybe even a small budget, for experiments, knowing full well some won't pan out. It's shifting from whose fault was this to, okay, what did we learn here? How might we do better next time? That's the cultural shift.
And the language itself, the actual how might we phrase, that seems to play a subtle but really powerful role too. Like when teams just naturally start using it in meetings, quick chats, even project briefs, it sends a message, doesn't it? That, everyone's ideas are welcome and problems are actually opportunities. You hear about places like Google or IDU making it standard practice for kickoffs, retrospectives.
Exactly. And that kind of deep change, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not a memo. It's the sum of lots and lots of small, consistent actions building up over time, like building muscle memory for the organization.
Okay, so if it's about these small, consistent actions, these habits, how do we make sure we're doing the right small actions? What does embedding HMW actually look like, day to day? What are the practical steps?
Right. This is where rituals become so important. Concrete things people can actually do. One really effective one is starting meetings with an HMW round. Before you even touch the agenda, just take a few minutes. Ask everyone to quickly reframe the main challenge you're tackling, even a small one, as a how might we question. Gets everyone in that mindset.
Okay, I like that. Simple. What else?
Setting up HMW walls or dedicated digital channels, like a physical whiteboard in a common area or a specific channel in Slack or Teams. A place where literally anyone can just post an HMW question they're wrestling with about their work, customers, internal stuff, whatever. And then maybe something like weekly HMW spotlights. Just dedicate, say, 10 minutes in a team meeting, pick one HMW someone submitted, put it up, and quickly brainstorm some initial ideas as a group. Keeps the momentum going.
That makes sense for generating ideas, but I can also see how that HMW wall could become overwhelming, like a huge backlog of questions with no action. How do you stop it from just becoming, noise?
That's a fair point and a real risk. The key is linking generation to prioritization and action. Not every single H&W needs a task force, obviously, but you need a lightweight way to sift through them. Maybe dot voting, maybe a quick review by a small group. Then the promising ones. They need an owner, someone responsible for the next step, even if it's just further exploration. It's about balancing that open ideation with focused follow-through.
And you mentioned leadership support earlier. The language leaders use must be huge here. When a leader consciously chooses, how might we solve this? Instead of, I don't know, why didn't you hit that target?
Yeah.
That changes the whole dynamic, right?
Fundamentally, it shifts the default reaction from defense or blame straight into curiosity, shared problem solving. Even tiny swaps matter. Like, instead of asking, whose fault is this? Try, okay, what's the opportunity for us here? It just makes contributing ideas feel safer, more energizing for everybody. It fosters that growth mindset we talked about.
Okay, so we've got the why, the culture piece, and somehow the daily rituals and language. But let's talk scale. How have organizations really taken this beyond one team or project and made it work more broadly? Got any examples?
Yeah, definitely. There's a great case study of a global snack company. Their continuous improvement team started doing these monthly HMW lunches. Simple idea. Any employee could pitch what they called a sticky workplace problem. Could be anything, big or small. And then over lunch, they'd get cross-functional groups together to brainstorm HMWs and potential solutions right then and there.
Okay, simple format. Did it lead to anything significant?
It really did. One specific example they highlighted was tackling their really clunky digital expense reporting system, a classic pain point, right? Through one of these lunches, they came up with HRWs, developed solutions, and ended up streamlining the whole process. The result, they calculated it saved something like over 200 hours of employee time per month. And that solution got rolled out company-wide.
Wow, just from a lunch session. That's impressive. Any other examples, maybe in a different sector?
Yeah, there's another interesting one involving a municipal government. They started running quarterly HMW sprints focused on big public challenges, things like public transit issues or improving recycling rates. But here's the really cool part. They opened it up so residents, not just city employees, could submit the HMW questions.
Oh, interesting. So involving the public right at the start.
Exactly. And that had a dual benefit. First, it surfaced real ground-level problems that maybe the city leaders hadn't fully seen or prioritized. And second, just as importantly, it started building genuine trust. The community saw the city wasn't just dictating solutions, but actively asking for their help in defining the problems. That's powerful.
That idea of involving external folks like residents,
Yeah.
it feels like there's a principle there. What makes that kind of external engagement truly work? It can't just be about getting more ideas, can it?
No, you're right. It's about genuine empowerment. It's one thing to ask for ideas. It's another to give those external voices real influence on what actually happens next. They need to see their input isn't just collected, but it's valued, it's debated, it influences decisions. That sense of shared ownership, that's what really builds that long-term trust and buy-in, whether it's with customers, residents, or even internal teams.
Okay, this all sounds great, but let's be realistic. Building this kind of culture, it can't be easy. There must be roadblocks. What are the common pitfalls people run into when trying to embed H&W thinking? And crucially, how do you sidestep them?
Oh, absolutely. There are definitely common traps. One big one is sometimes called H&W theater. The scene, high energy workshop, tons of sticky notes, great ideas flying around, and then crickets. Nothing actually happens afterwards.
Right. All sizzle, no steak.
Exactly. The ideas just vanish. The fix. It sounds simple, but it's critical. Every single HMW that gets prioritized needs a clear owner, someone responsible for follow-up with actual deadlines and the support they need to move it forward. Ideas without owners are just wishes.
Okay, so ownership is key for follow-through. What's another pitfall?
Token inclusion. This is where you make a big show of inviting diverse voices, maybe junior staff, people from different departments, even customers to the brainstorming part. But then when it comes time to actually decide which ideas move forward or how they're implemented, those diverse voices are suddenly absent. The decisions happen back in the usual closed rooms.
Ah, so it looks inclusive, but the power structure doesn't actually change.
Precisely. The remedy is genuine inclusion throughout the entire process. Bring those non-traditional stakeholders into prioritization meetings, into prototyping sessions, into testing. Their perspective is valuable at every stage, not just at the fun brainstorming bit.
Makes sense. Any other major traps?
One more. Process overload. This is where HMW becomes an end in itself. It's just endless workshops, more and more sticky notes, complex templates, but very little concrete action or tangible results come out of it. People get process fatigue.
Yeah, I can see that happening, focusing too much on the how of HMW and losing sight of the why.
Exactly. The countermeasure here is to always tie HMW efforts back to real business goals or meaningful challenges. Track the outcomes. Did this initiative actually move the needle on X? And then this is vital. Celebrate the wins, even small successes that came from an HMW process. Share those stories. It shows the effort is worthwhile and keeps people engaged.
Okay, so let's say you've navigated these pitfalls, you've got some momentum going. How do you keep it alive? How do you make sure HMW doesn't just fade away after the initial push, but becomes truly habitual, part of the organization's DNA?
Sustaining it is key. It takes ongoing effort. A few strategies work well here. First, anchor it. Build HMW discussions into existing routines, team check-ins, project retrospectives, make it a standard agenda item. Don't let it be optional.
Integrate it, don't isolate it.
Exactly. Second, recognition helps. Maybe create simple HMW champion awards or acknowledgments. Recognize individuals or teams whose HMW questions led to real positive changes. It reinforces the value. And third, constantly share the success stories. Use internal newsletters, all hands meetings, even onboarding for new hires. Show people, this is how we approach problems here. This is what it looks like when it works. Make it visible.
It sounds like the habit itself, the act of constantly reframing things with how might we, is almost self-sustaining in a way. Like it builds resilience because you're always looking for the opportunity, even in setbacks.
That's a huge part of the long game. It absolutely builds organizational resilience and adaptability. When facing a challenge becomes an automatic trigger for, okay, how might we approach this, rather than panic or blame, it fundamentally changes how the organization learns and grows. Setbacks become data points, not dead ends. It keeps the energy up. It makes getting stuck feel temporary.
So wrapping this up, the real power isn't just using HMW as a tool now and then. It's making it the cultural default, shifting the entire mindset towards continuous problem solving and innovation.
Precisely. It's moving beyond a technique to embedding a way of thinking. So the challenge for you listening right now is maybe this week, introduce just one small HMW ritual. Could you start your next team meeting by reframing the main topic as an HMW? Or maybe just start a simple chat thread for people to share HMWs they're facing.
These small
Steps. Yeah, small step. And maybe just ask yourself as you go through your week, what's one everyday problem, maybe even something annoying or surprising, that you could reframe using how might we? Just try it, see what happens. How might that tiny shift in perspective ripple outwards and maybe create some unexpected positive change?
Something to think about.
Show, let's go, open up your mind and grow. Facts and stories, things you never know. Every episode, we light the glow. Step into the world of Mad Show. Turn it up, let the rhythm flow. Feel the beat, take control. Don't be shy, just let it go. This is where the magic grows. Tune in now, it's the Mash Show. Lights up bright and minds will glow. Every day we learn and grow. Come along and join the flow. New ideas begin to shine. Breaking limits, crossing lines. Every moment feels divine. In the world of Mash Show time. Turn it up, let the rhythm flow. Feel the beat, take control. Don't be shy, just let it go. This is where the magic grows. Tune in now, it's the Mash Show. Lights up bright and minds will glow. Every day we learn and grow. Come along and join the flow.